Hello everyone, welcome to today's daily news analysis. I am Akhil Rajaratnam. So these are the four topics which I have taken for today's discussion. So first one is related to converting court case backlogs into treasure trove. So this article is talking regarding the pendencies in the court and how we can actually address these particular issues and how mediation is also coming as a way. So that we can discuss. Next one is related to RBI to infuse liquidity via $10 billion USD-INR swap deal. Okay. So here we'll be, this is actually a new project which is launched by RBI. So here we'll have a closer look on how the Reserve Bank of India is using the currency swap to infuse more liquidity into the system. Okay. Next one again from Indian Express, how the government spends. Okay. So here we are actually coming up with some of the indices which are actually brought by the government to track how the government is actually spending. Okay. The fourth one is related to India-Qatar deal, but with more specific to the LNG, okay, liquefied natural gas. So why LNG is very much important in this India-Qatar deal, okay. So these are the four articles which I have taken for today's daily news analysis, okay. Before moving on to the session, let's start with a very quick, easy quiz, okay. So this is from history only. Which temple in Hampi is dedicated to Lord Vishnu and built during Vijayanagara period, okay. Brihadishwara temple, Vittala temple, Meenakshi temple, Jagannatha temple. So these are the options. So you can write your answers in the, you can comment your answers in the chat box. So we'll be discussing this question in the, by the end of this session. Okay. All right. So this is actually a product which we are launching. So this is a 110-day self-study planner. 110-day self-study planner. So this is basically a self-study guide which we are providing for you. So in 110 days, you can actually, you'll know all the things to crack your UPSC Civil Services preliminary examination. So what you have to do is you have to go to this particular QR code. You can scan this particular QR code and you can download Narayana IAS app, and there this this study planner will be available. Okay. Next one, these are the two products which we are again announcing. One is a 1-year prelims comes mains integrated course. So this will be for the aspirants who are aiming the 2026 examination. Another one will be for the, another one is a 2-year prelims comes mains integrated course. So this will be for the aspirants who are aiming the 2027 examination. So what all are the things which are included in this particular program? One is a 800 hours of general studies and CSAT classes. Okay, completely online general studies and CSAT classes. Another one is a 200 hours of current affairs classes. Okay, other than that, we are actually providing you the micro schedule so that you will be able to better understand the UPSC syllabus, and also we'll be having expert faculty for all the subjects. And obviously testing is also very much important regarding this particular course. So we'll be providing both prelims as well as mains test series for you. Okay. All right. So with that note, let's move on to the first topic, converting court case backlogs into treasure troves. Okay. So here we'll be discussing regarding what are the what is actually the current statistics of the backlog. So how mediation mechanism can help in reducing this particular backlog. Okay, so author is actually proposing that mediation as an effective solution to reduce this particular burden. Okay, all right. So we'll be discussing this. This is coming in the GS paper, structure, organization and functioning of the judicial system. Okay, very much important from the mains perspective. Okay, so to better understand this, we need to understand what is actually the extent of this problem. To know the extent of this problem, we need to understand the basic statistics. What is actually the pendency statistics in India, in Supreme Court, in High Court, in District Court, what is actually the issue. Okay. All right. So a previous year question in this regard, what are the major changes brought in the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1960 through 66 through the recent ordinance promulgated by the President? How far will it improve India's dispute resolution mechanism? Discuss. Okay. So again, this is also related to mediation and arbitration mechanism. All right. So this is the basic statistics of the pendency. Okay, so this is as per the State of Judiciary report 2023. This was released by the Center for Research and Planning. Okay, so Center for Research and Planning, they have released the State of Judiciary report in 2023. So as of September 1 2023, as of September 1 2023, approximately 5 crore cases, approximately 5 crore 50 million cases are pending across various courts in India, not just one court, But overall, we have 50 million, 5 crore cases pending in India. And if you take the specific statistics of all the courts, you can see that in Supreme Court we have around 80,550 cases are pending in Supreme Court. And if you can see, in High Courts approximately 60 lakh cases are pending in High Courts, and District Courts it's almost 4.4 crore cases are pending in District Courts. And also if you look into the long term pending cases, long term pending cases, it's about 50 lakh. Okay, long term pending cases means uh, it is cases which are unresolved or not settled for more than 10 years. Okay, so that is long term pending cases. We have around 50 lakh long term pending cases are there. Okay, so this is basically the data from the 2023 State of Judiciary report. But now we have something known as a National Judicial Grid is there. So if you go to that particular site, you can see that you can see the real time data. Okay, for example, this one I have taken just before preparing while preparing the session only. So this is a live statistics. If you go to this particular website, National Judicial Data Grid, you can see how much cases are pending in the Supreme Court. Again, for this, if you can select the High Court also, so you can see the High Court pending case in High Court, and even District Courts also you can see in which state or which district that you can specifically see. Okay, so you can see how severe is that particular case. Pending civil case is around 63,687. Criminal case it is around 17,395. Total pending case it is 81,082. Pending cases are there as of today. Today morning, as of today morning, it is 81,082. So it's real time data. Okay, so whenever this data is getting updated, they'll real time update it in this particular website also. Okay, other options are also there. You can specifically look into like other data also, we can sort it like. Okay, so that is, so why, what is the issue with this backlogs? The backlog means justice is delayed. Okay, so there is actually a popular saying, justice delayed is justice denied. Okay, so that is a issue. So backlog means it is like, sometimes the people, even the person who has filed the case, he himself will be dying by the time the case will have a final hearing. So like that way, issues are actually very important, serious threat to our judiciary itself. So let's understand why these backlogs are actually existing. What are the reasons behind this backlogs? Okay, first one is high litigation culture. First one is a high litigation culture. So high litigation culture in the sense what, people approach court for almost every dispute, every dispute, whatever it be, even if it's a normal thing which we can discuss also, people will be going to the court. So that is a major issue which we are having. Also, for every minor dispute it will be court. So obviously court should not say that okay, we are not going to hear this because it's a minor one. They have to see this, they have to hear this, and finally they have to make a decision on that. Okay, so that is a major issue. Another one is a low judge to population ratio. Low judge to population ratio. Every country, the basic metrics in which the efficiency of judiciary is calculated, one of the basic metrics is this judge to population ratio. So in India, there are only 21 judges per 1 million people. Okay, there are only 21 judges per 1 million people. So basically, we have a lot of vacancies in our judicial system. So that is a major issue we are actually having. So if you want to compare it with the international standard, here we can say that in US, exactly for 1 million, they are actually having 107 judges. They have, this is India. In India, we have only 21 judges per billion population. In US, it is 107 judges per 1 million population. And if you go to some other advanced countries, for example, Germany, it is 250. If you go to Germany, it is 250 250 judges per 1 million population. Okay, so there also, right, to Germany is a very small country compared to India. Okay, so there they have, for 1 million population, they have 250 judges. India is a very large country, but still we have only 21 judges for 1 million population. That's also very serious issue. Another one is earlier the president Draupadi Murmu, when she was having a speech also, at that time also she highlighted this particular vacancy in the judicial system. Okay, next one is the adversarial system, adversarial legal system which the courts have to follow. For example, it will be a very lengthy process, multiple hearings have to be there, and after that somebody will be giving some interim applications. After that, again from the lower court, it will go to the higher court, will appeal, through appeal it will go to the higher court. From there, it will go to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court itself, multiple hearings will be there. So this is also a major issue which we are facing. Okay, and also this lawyers will also be requesting adjournment. For example, one time the witness won't be available, other time the that accused won't be available. So like that way, these issues are also happening. Okay, so again, this is also increasing the delays in the system. Another one major issue is the infrastructure shortages which we are facing. Okay, so many courts are actually lacking the basic resources. For example, it can either be poor staffs, number of staffs are not available. Even technology, for example, nowadays everything is digital. Okay, but still now also we have courts which are not having this proper digital mechanisms are also there. So like that way, infrastructure issues are also one of the major uh, issues pertaining in this particular thing. Okay, another one, in most of the cases, government itself is the biggest litigant. The government itself is the biggest litigant in our country. In these pending cases, government itself is a litigant, and also sometimes it will be between the government departments. One department will be suing the other department. So these issues are also there. State government will be against the other state government, or maybe against the central government. So this is also one of the major issues which we are facing. Okay, now we understood what is actually the statistics of the pendency in our code, and also now we understood what are some of the reasons for this is. So this backlogs are going to happen. Now we have to understand what is actually the impact of this. Okay, so why, if due to these reasons some impact will be there on the society as well as the overall criminal justice system, right? So now we need to understand what is this. Okay, all right, first one is justice denied to the marginalized group. Like I've said, justice delayed is justice denied only. Same way, mostly the people who have been affected, who are getting affected, is a marginalized group. For example, the poor people, even the rural citizens. So they are not able to afford this prolonged legal battles. For example, some cases and all, it will be going beyond 10 years, 15 years and all, it will be going beyond that. So they have to give the fees, even their transport expenses will be there, one day salary is gone. So like that way, mostly they won't be able to afford this prolonged legal battles, and sometimes they themselves will be fed up this and they'll be cancelling the case. So that is also there. So many of them, they'll be giving up the fighting, giving up instead of fighting for their rights. So that's also there. Another one is economic impact. Another one is economic, especially in this related to businesses and all, so business dispute and all, this takes years to resolve. Okay, so basically, if in a country if this is happening, what will happen, the investment will be discouraged, people will not invest in that particular country. So that is also there. And mostly in this contract enforcement also, that will also weaken. So ultimately what is happening, India's economic growth is also getting affected for this particular thing. Okay, so that's also there. Another one is erosion or loss of public trust. Loss of public trust. People will be fed up with the judiciary. People will be losing faith in the judiciary, and that will ultimately affecting the democracy, and that will be affecting the governance. So like that way, slowly people won't be believing in democracy. People won't be believing in judiciary. Something is happening also. They will know that okay, this will go to the court, and again it will take some years. So like that way, issues are also happening. For example, take case of land disputes. People turn to powerful individuals or other extra legal methods outside the court to solve the issue. So again, that will also cause another criminal issues and all. So this is also there. Okay, and another issue which mostly is overlooked is a judge burnout. Okay, we have already discussed it is only 21 judges per 1 million of the population. 21 judges per 1 million of the population. So obviously judges are also struggling to maintain their efficiency. So their pressure will be there. Somehow you have to finish this case. So this pressure will be affecting the decision making. So like that, this issue is also there. Okay. So again, everything will be affected. Okay, again pendency will be happening. Somehow they, instead of ideally they should be having 3 hearings, but what will happen? Somehow they have the pressure to close the case. So somehow they'll be closing it early. Okay, but still what will happen? Again, the parties won't be satisfied. They'll again go to the higher court for appeal. Again, this process will be continuing as a vicious cycle. So that is also there. So what is a alternative for this? We need a clear alternative to at least ensure that this is not getting escalated to dismissal. So this is where mediation comes in. Okay, mediation comes in. So even in the article also, the, the author is saying that mediation is very much important to avoid this backlogs. Okay, so what is mediation? Mediation is structured negotiation process where a neutral third party helps disputing parties reach a voluntary settlement. Okay, so that is mediation. So a third party, that is a mediator, is coming. So mediator is coming to help the two sides negotiate and reach a voluntary settlement. Okay, and that should be done in a particular time period only. Okay, so that is a thing. Okay, so what are the key features of this mediation? Key features of this mediation: one, discussion should be there. Discussion, and it should be remaining private. It is not like two parties will be there and one mediator will be there. It will not go out of this particular walls. Okay, so that is, discussion should remain private. That is one of the features. Another one is decision should not be imposed. The mediator should not be, mediator should be a neutral party. Okay, you should not side with one party and say that no, you should give this to them, this is my decision. That should not be possible. That should not be done. He should not force anyone. He should facilitate these two parties. Okay, so that these parties agree on their own terms. That is a important thing. Another one, another important feature, it should be time and cost effective. Okay, so mediation is takes a very few sessions. You know, right? Court cases, it can even go up to 10 years, 10 years, and it can last for maybe more decades also. Okay, mediation means, okay, maybe one time they'll have one session. So at that time they'll discuss, okay, this is my case, this is my case, this is my case. So like that way you'll have a, you'll discuss together. Maybe at the, in that particular session nothing will happen. They'll go home, they'll think about it, they'll come back again, they'll sit, and again maybe one more session, maybe one more session, then three sessions, that will be over. So this is how mediation should be. Ideally mediation should be working. Okay, so now we have understood why mediation is an alternative to this regular process. So again we'll see more points regarding this. Okay, again this is a process how the mediation is actually working. This is specific to Karnataka, but still applicable for everything. So court will refer the matter to mediation. Okay, after that a mediator will be there. Court will be appointing a mediator in this case, and the mediator will be consulting the parties or advocates to decide how the mediation process. Technically, if you are taking mediation, there are different types of mediation out there. Okay, so which mediation process should be there? Mediation will be starting. So after that, the parties agree to the terms of agreement. The mediator will be drafting an agreement. Mediation agreement will be drafted. So if not, the mediator send back the court file to the court. So if the agreement is accepted by all the parties, same will be submitted to the court. Otherwise, otherwise again they'll be look for other alternative. So after receiving the agreement, court verifies the same and asks the parties if the agreed same is accepted by the court, and finally it will be settled. Okay, so a mediator is coming in between two parties, and finally both of them are accepting. Okay, in other case, if you are going to the court, means court will be looking into the legal issues. Court will be so it will be in favor of one party, other party won't be liking this, again they'll go for appeal. So this process will be avoided in mediation. Okay, all right. So why use mediation? We have already understood that why we have to use mediation. Again, it is a very important. It will be saving the time and money. Okay, it will be saving the time. Why? Because you know, time means very less sessions itself it can be done. Money, how it can be, the regular heavy court process avoided, and also giving for the money for the advocate. All these things can also be avoided. Reduces the court burden also. Most of the cases are going in mediation level itself. At least some of the cases are going in mediation level itself. Thousands of cases can be settled outside the courtroom. Judges can focus on more serious cases. Okay, where mediation in some cases, for example, like territory dispute will be there, marriage dispute will be there. So that cases can be settled in outside the court. Outside the court means court can focus on more criminal cases. Like that way, it can say. Okay, time and money we have already discussed. Preserves relationship, especially in the what that marriages, businesses, family, commercial disputes. So in these things and all, mostly this will be better. Mediation will be better, and higher compliance rate. Why? Because you know, two parties are discussing. It's not like they are taking it to the court. They are discussing all the legal terms. Not like that. They are based on their common understanding. They will be discussing. So again, this will have a higher complaints. Okay, so that is also one of the major issues. Okay. So mediation, as of now, we don't have an exact mechanism for mediation, but in India, we have small mechanism in which the mediation has been proved successful. Okay, so we'll see some of the important successful examples of mediation mechanism. Okay, all right. So one is the Delhi Mediation Center. Delhi Mediation sender. Okay, so many, for example, like matrimonial cases, property disputes. So like that way, many cases have been disputed by uh, the mechanism which was introduced by the Delhi High Court. Okay, so this is Delhi Mediation Center. Again, Bombay High Court was also come up with some sort of a similar mechanism. But again, here it is more like commercial dispute, landlord tenant dispute. So all these things were also there. So it helped the Bombay High Court to reduce the unnecessary litigation process. Okay, and if you are taking the international scenario also, there are countries in which mediation is somewhat mandatory also. Okay, so if you take Singapore, Singapore is actually having a strong mediation framework. So especially in the business litigation. So that is why Singapore is one of the most investor friendly place. Okay, so like that way we can use it. Okay, so more investment in economic front also it will be helping case. Okay, all right. So how can India institutionalize this mediation at a pan-Indian level? We have to understand. All right. One, mandatory pre-litigation mechanism should be there. Mandatory pre-litigation mechanism should be there. Again, this is also many of the international countries. So they have already they are using it, and they have found it useful also. Okay. So especially in this commercial front. Okay, commercial front. So this will be incentivizing the mediation courts, and they will be penalizing the frivolous litigation also. Why? Because it is mandatory. Okay, so they'll think like, okay, why directly going to the court? Now some very small thing is happening also, people will be directly going to the court. So that can be avoided. Okay, next one is government's role. What is the government's role? The government, we have already discussed, government is one of the major parties in most of this litigation. Okay, so the government should reduce this unnecessary litigation. They should purposefully reduce this unnecessary litigation. That should be there. And even government department should also be clearly advised that they have to settle the disputes internally. It should not be the electricity department should be suing the motor vehicle department. So like that way, they should be settled internally instead of directly taking it to the court. That should be there. Okay, we need more professionalization of this mediation mechanism. As of now, most of the mediation mechanisms are going in a very what in a very untrained way only. So we need more training. We need certified mediators should be there, so that people who are professionally trained, and they should be knowing how this process is actually working, and what time we should be doing. So it should not be like we are replicating the same thing, we are doing it in the courts, but there should be an extra alternative mechanism should be there. Okay, so now we have understood what are the issues with the backlogs in the court, and how mediation can be a alternative to this. Okay, so basically the backlogs in Indian judiciary is not just a legal issue, it's a crisis affecting the entire system. Okay, for example, in the economic front also it is getting affected, in the governance front also it is getting affected, and obviously in the criminal justice system also it is getting affected. Okay, all right, moving on to next topic. Yeah, this is related to the new initiative by RBI related to the currency swap mechanism. Okay, currency swap mechanism, USD-INR swap deal, 10 billion USD-INR swap deal. So again, the news was related to this. So RBI is thinking that this swap mechanism will be boosting the rupee liquidity in the economy, and also stabilizing the currency, and even that exchange rate vulnerability is also not there. Okay, so we'll be discussing what is this currency, what is a particular move by RBI, what is this currency swap mechanism. All those things will be discussing coming in the GS3. Okay, Indian economy banking section. All right, a previous year question in this regard. What were the reasons for introduction of Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2013? Discuss critically its salient features and their effectiveness. Okay. All right. So first, let's understand what a currency swap and how it's actually working. So this is related to USD-INR. So we'll be focusing on, initially we'll be discussing what is this entirely, whatever currency can be swapped with another currency. Okay, so basically currency swap is a financial agreement between two parties to exchange a specific amount of one currency for another, and reverse the transaction at a predetermined future date. So what all things are there? It's actually a financial agreement, and between two parties should be there, and two currencies should also be there, and one currency should be converted to another currency, and in a future date this should be reversed. Okay, so this currency, for example, INR USD is coming, that should be reversed. Okay, it has to be returned at a predetermined future date. So this is how currency, this is the basic understanding of the currency swap mechanism. Okay, so who uses currency swap? Okay, we have already said who is using in this particular context, that is RBI only. So basically central banks can use this currency swap mechanism. So why they are using it? One, to manage the liquidity and it stabilize the exchange rate. And other than that, financial institutions like, for example, SEBI, okay, central bank like RBI, financial institutions like SEBI, they can also use them. Why they are using? Because to hedge the currency risk, or maybe to make the foreign trade and all smoother. For that also they'll be using this mechanism. Okay, so there are two different types of currency swap mechanism. One is the buy sell currency swap mechanism. Buy sell currency swap mechanism. So this is used in the current RBI swap. Okay, they are using the buy sell currency swap mechanism. Okay, so what is RBI doing here, or maybe any central bank will be doing here? The central bank will be buying the foreign currency, but now they will be buying this foreign currency and they will be selling it back later. Okay, now central bank RBI, in this case RBI will be there, RBI will be buying the currency and they will be selling it back later. So what is the purpose? It will be increasing the liquidity in the market. It will be increasing the liquidity in the market. Another one is a sell buy. Another one is a sell buy swap. Okay, so here what is happening? The central bank will be selling the foreign currency. Central bank will be selling the foreign currency now and buying it back later. Okay, so what is, again, the reverse effect is happening. So here it will be reducing the rupee liquidity. Okay, reducing the rupee liquidity, and it will be preventing the excess money flow. So this is basically, earlier it was to increase the rupee liquidity. That is what RBI is going to do now. Okay, here it is like reducing the liquidity in the system. Okay, so we'll give I'll give an example like how this RBI USD swap is actually working. I'll give a random data. Suppose RBI, Reserve Bank of India, enters into a USD-INR buy sell swap. Okay, with a commercial bank. There two parties should be there. Right? For example, one RBI is there and another commercial bank is also there. So RBI will be buying 10 billion from the commercial bank today. RBI will be buying 10 billion from the commercial bank. So this is known as spot leg. Okay, spot leg buying. Okay, so this is known as spot leg. So RBI buys 10 billion from the commercial bank today, and in return it provides rupees. Okay, it provides rupees in equivalent to this 10 billion dollar. Equivalent. So rupees equivalent to this 10 billion dollar will be given. Okay, and after, say for example, there should be a far leg date should be there. Okay, far leg date is basically the tenure. Far leg date. Okay, so this is basically the tenure. Okay, so in this far leg date, maybe let's take 3 years. In this case, it is 3 years only. So in this far leg date, the banks will be buying this particular $10. This $10 will be bought back at a pre-agreed exchange rate. Okay, exchange rate, it's not that particular time's exchange rate, but that will be agreed in the earlier time itself. Okay, and they'll be returning the rupees. And but what is the profit here? There will be a swap premium will be there. There will be a swap premium will be there. Okay, so this is how the mechanism is working. Okay, so these are some of the important terms which are coming. So this is the spot leg is actually how they are buying it. Far leg is the tenure, and how much they are giving extra, that is a swap premium. Okay, so this is how things are working here. Okay, all right. So this ensures that RBI this rupee liquidity increases in the market. That is one purpose. Another one, no permanent changes happening in the India's foreign exchange market. That's another thing. So basically it helps the uh, exchange rate validity. It helps manage the exchange rate validity and even boosts the confidence in rupee. Okay, so these are some of the purpose. So why RBI is conducting this swap? Now they are going with the buy sell swap. Okay, now RBI is buying and later they'll be selling it. Okay, so why RBI is going with this buy sell swap? Okay, I've already discussed that in the context, that is to increase the liquidity, enhancing the liquidity in this banking system. So by injecting the rupees, RBI ensures that the banks have sufficient funds for lending and investment. Okay, so this can reduce the interest rate and even making the loans more cheaper. Okay, so this is RBI's one purpose. Another one is managing the exchange rate volatility. Exchange rate volatility. So again, here also if rupee fluctuates too much, it creates some uncertainty for the businesses and even investors also. So this swap helps in smooth out this sharp movements in USD as well as INR rate. So that's another purpose. Another one is countering the foreign fund outflows. Foreign fund outflows. So when foreign investors pull out their money and rupee tends to weaken, this swap boosts the rupee demand. So balancing the currency's value. So that's also another thing. Another one is supporting market confidence. So here it will be providing liquidity during uncertain times. Reassures these investors to invest in India. Okay. So this signals that RBI is actively managing the financial system. So obviously people will have trust in this particular institution. Okay. All right. Now regarding this deal, what is the present deal which is happening? So this is a buy sell swap. I have already mentioned it is a buy sell USD, US dollar, Indian rupee, buy sell swap. Okay. The amount is $10 billion. $10 billion. So this is actually the far leg. So this tenure will be 3 years. So after 3 years, they have to return it back, and again the exchange is rupee. So what is the bidding mechanism here? So here they are actually using a multiple price auction. Okay, so here they are actually using a multiple pricing. So what is this multiple price auction? So each bank will be submitting a bid, okay, for the swap premium. So that will be in paisa, okay, not in rupee, but it will be in paisa. So each bank will be submitting a bid for the swap premium. So successful bidders pay the price they quoted. Okay, so why? Because the bidding means it will be ensuring that a fair price discovery is there in the market. So anyone can participate in this. Okay, so what is a expected impact on the Indian economy? Why RBI is doing this? What is expected? One is in the short term, rupee will be strengthening. At least that is what we can do. Short term, rupee will be strengthening. So it is said that it can even move rupee to 86.3. 86.3. Okay, at least it can move till 86.3. Okay, so again, what will happen? 80 rupee moves to 86.3. It will be rupee appreciation. Okay, stronger rupee means imports will be more cheaper. Okay, so that is thing. But obviously, export will be affected, but still lower borrowing costs. Lower borrowing costs. So more rupee liquidity will be leading to lower interest rate. So businesses and consumers can benefit from the cheaper loans. That is also there. Another one is the foreign exchange stability. Foreign exchange stability. So again, reducing the currency volatility protect the business and investors. That's also there. So these are some of the expected impact on Indian economy regarding this. So basically, this RBI's 10 billion swap is a strategic move to manage the liquidity, stabilize the rupee, and even control the forex visibility. Okay, for forex volatility. Okay, so this is the purpose. All right, next one. Moving on to next one. Again, this is related to the government spending only. Okay, so we'll be discussing some indices related to public expenditure. Okay, so recently the RBI has come up with a quality of public expenditure index. Quality of public expenditure index. So what is the purpose of that? It will be assessing the how well the government is spending the public money. Okay, so we'll be discussing how efficiently the government spends its public money and more on the quality public expenditure index, QP index. Okay, previous year question in this regard. Again, this is coming in the economy part only, GS3. All right, previous year question in this regard. Which one of the following is not a sub-index of World Bank's ease of doing business? Okay, all right. Yeah, about the index. So what is this particular index all about? So the QP index, quality of public expenditure index, though this was a mechanism which was created by RBI, mechanism which was created by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, what is the purpose? To evaluate how well the center and the states are spending the public money. How well the center as well as the states are spending this public money. So basically, it tracks the trend not just from recent times, but from the 1991 during the LPG reform cycle. So from this 1991 till present, from 1991 till present, it will be tracking the it will be analyzing whether the government spending is contributing to even economic growth, social welfare, and even the infrastructure development also. Okay. Okay, so basically a high quality public expenditure means more money is spent on long term development. For example, like development of infrastructure, development of education. So like that way, less money is wasted on excessive operational costs. Okay, so that we'll discuss in the negatives. And even the government is able to manage the debt efficiently, so avoiding the interest burdens. On the other hand, if it's a poor expenditure quality means more spending on the salaries, more spending on the pensions will be there, subsidies will be more, but what is lacking here? Development won't be there, infrastructure development won't be there, and also heavy debt will also be there for the government, and also low infrastructure, no investment will also be there in the economic growth initiative. Okay, so to assess all these things only, RBI's OP index has been introduced, and for that they are actually considering 5 indicators. For that they are considering 5 indicators. So we'll discuss what are these 5 indicators. Okay, one is capital outlay to GDP ratio. Capital outlay to GDP ratio. So this measures the government's investment in infrastructure. Measures government's investment in infrastructure as a percentage of the GDP. Okay, so why it matters? What is the purpose? Because higher spending on infrastructure lead to long-term economic benefit. Okay, higher infrastructure spending means higher economic benefit. So India's capital outlay has increased over time, especially after this COVID downtown, COVID-19 pandemic and all, it has happened. Okay. Next one is revenue expenditure to capital outlay ratio. So this will be comparing the day-to-day government expenditure. Sorry, day-to-day government expenses. For example, like salaries will be there, pensions will be there, subsidies will be there. So that will be compared with the long-term investment. Okay, so why it matters? Because a lower ratio is better, always better, because it shows more focus on the productive spending. Okay, here also the trend is revenue expenditure shot up post COVID due to the welfare spending, but now it has been stabilized. Okay. Third one, development expenditure to GDP ratio. Okay, so here it will be tracking, here it will be tracking the government spending on public service and economic growth. Okay, so that is a third one. So why it matters? Because a higher ratio means government is prioritizing essential. So this again after the 2003 we had a FRBM Act. Okay, after this FRBM Act, government spending has been improved, but economic crisis have caused 2019 COVID and all has caused the issues. Okay, fourth one, development expenditure as a percentage of total expenditure. So this will be measuring the share of government expenditure spent on development focused activity. Development uh, spend on development focused activities. Okay, again this is also a part of the GDP spending. Okay, next one, interest payments to total government expenditure ratio. So this will be capturing the burden of debt repayment on public spending. Okay, on the public spending. Okay, so these are some of the indicators which we are using. Okay, all right, so now let's understand what are the key insights or what are the key observations from this particular index. Okay, so capital spending has increased after the economic downturn. Capital spending has increased. Capital spending means what? Again, investment in this infrastructure, education, all these things are capital uh, investment. Okay, so the government has ramped up this infrastructure investment. Why? To boost the recovery. Okay, and also revenue spending has spiked during the crisis. Revenue spending has spiked during the crisis, especially after events like 2008, we had a financial crisis, and after that, globally, we had a financial crisis, and after that, COVID-19 is also coming. Okay, so the revenue expenditure surged, so that impacting a fiscal discipline. Okay, next one, development expenditure improved post 2003. Development expenditure improved post 2003. So what happened in 2003? FRBM Act. FRBM Act was introduced, and that helped in shifting the focus towards productive spending. But crises have led to temporary setbacks also. Okay, all right. States play a key role in development spending. Again, increase tax devolution that has allowed the state to invest more in the essential sector. So that's also there. Other one is debt repayment remains a concern. So that is a major concern. Higher interest payments will be there. So that is limiting the government's ability to allocate the funds for growth. Okay, so in summary, we can say that the QP index that provides a clear picture on how the government spends the public money. Okay, India has made a significant progress in improving this expenditure quality, even fiscal challenges, but fiscal challenges actually remain. Okay, so we need to, this index will be helping India cope up with that. Okay, moving on to next one. Yeah, this is related to India-Qatar ties. Okay, India-Qatar ties. So in India-Qatar ties, we have already discussed regarding India-Qatar ties in our previous um, daily news analysis. So here the focus is on LNG. Okay, India and Qatar have a strong trade relationship, and that is driven by India's reliance on the Qatari LNG. Okay, so India's aim is to double the bilateral trade by 2030 with many countries. For example, like with US and all, we have brought in something like the Mission 500. So like that way, with many countries, we want to double the trade. And also here, LNG, natural gas is coming. Sorry, LNG is coming, and we need to understand. We need to improve the boost the natural gas consumption also. Okay, so that's why in this India-Qatari relation, natural gas is a crucial thing. So we'll discuss what are the points in very short. We'll discuss what are the points in this. Again, relation between India and other countries. In international relations, it will be important. Okay, previous year question in this regard. Question of India's energy security constitutes the most important part of India's economic progress. Analyze India's energy policy cooperation with West Asian countries. Okay, all right. So why LNG is central to the future expansion of India-Qatar trade? Okay, so why LNG? Why is LNG central to this? One is India's rising LNG demand. India's rising liquefied natural gas demand. Okay, earlier India was having 6%. Okay, natural gas usage in India was 6% in our energy mix. We use different things, right? For example, not just LNG, we use many things for our energy needs. So LNG was earlier 6% only. Now we are expecting it to be 15% by 2030. So obviously we need a good partner. So this natural gas consumption, again, it is projected that it will be moving up to maybe around 60%. Why? Because we are slowly reducing other energy things. So obviously this will be spiking up. Okay, so to meet these demands, India, we need more cooperation with the other countries. Other than that, we need our own infrastructure. So we are in the process of building a new LNG terminal and pipeline to distribute the gases. Okay. Another one, Qatar's expanding LNG export capacity. First one was related to Indian demand. This next one is related to what Qatar is doing. Okay, so Qatar is expanding. Okay, Qatar is almost doubling its LNG production. Earlier it was around 70 million. Now they are planning it to 142. This thing is measured in MTP. Okay, million tons per annum. MTP. Million tons per annum. Okay, so earlier they were producing approximately 70 million tons per annum. Now they are also planning to double their production. Okay, so now it will be almost 140 million tons per annum. Okay, earlier it was India's demand. Was from 6% to 15% to, we are expecting it to be around 60%. Okay, so we need to meet this particular demand, and who is supplying that? They are supplying to meet how we can meet this demand. Okay, so this is, so here it is demand, here it is supply should also be. So obviously we need to be in a good position. Okay, so this is the case. Another one, the existing long-term contracts and trade dominance. We already have some of the important deals with the Qatar. So currently Qatar is supplying 39% of India's LNG import. 39%, especially the with Petronet LNG. Petronet LNG is India's biggest LNG importer. Okay, so they have extended its long-term contract with Qatar till 2048. Okay, and we have other what other companies are also there. For example, GAIL is there, and some other companies are also there. So they are also signing new LNG agreements with Qatar to ensure that supply. Okay, so the more companies are signing more deals, and also we have our demand is also increasing. Qatar's production is also increasing. So everything is aligning. Everything is aligning with the policies of all the both the countries. Okay. Another one is strategic partnership and bilateral trade. Strategic partnership and bilateral trade goals. So both India and Qatar want to double their trade, okay, to around $28 billion by 2030. $28 billion by 2030. So energy, mainly this LNG is the backbone of the expansion between India-Qatar trade ties. And also beyond LNG, Qatar is investing in India's infrastructure also, okay. So that is also one thing. Okay. Beyond LNG also we are actually coming with new, and even Indian companies are also expanding in the Middle East, especially in the Qatar region. So that is also thing. Another thing is competition from US and diversification of sources. Okay, so now US is also emerging as one of the major LNG supplier. Okay, so they are also competing with Qatar. So India is diversifying its LNG imports by signing contracts with the US energy company. So however, Qatar still has key advantages. One, it is closer to India, so transportation costs will be lower, even better pricing will be there, better pricing, and even we are opting for longer contracts will be there. Even the existing infrastructure supports a Qatari LNG import. For example, now also we are actually having some LNG terminals. Even though we are expanding, we are also having some LNG terminals. Are they are very well connected to this, receive this Qatari LNG. Okay, so that is regarding. So why LNG is a very important uh, product in the very important product in strengthening the India Qatari ties. Okay, so that we have discussed. All right, moving on to our mains practice question. Mains practice question. So we have discussed all the four prelims practice questions. Sorry, four topics. Now moving on to mains practice question. The Indian judicial system is facing an unprecedented backlog of cases, delaying justice for millions. Discuss the primary reasons for this backlog and suggest systemic reforms to improve the efficiency. Okay, so what we can do, we can define with the what is the judicial backlog, and I've already shown you the report, state of judiciary report 2023, and also maybe if you can take the data from the national judicial grid also, it will be good. So like that way you can define it and briefly state its impact on the judicial delivery and public trust. So what is asked here, what are the primary reasons for backlog? So after that you can list down the primary reasons for backlog: high litigation ratio, low judge to population, adversarial system, multiple appeals will be there, the system is not proper, infrastructure shortages like poor staffing, digital connectivity is not there, and government involvement in this being the largest litigant, so that is also there. Again, what we can do, systemic reforms like judicial strength can be improved, and promoting mechanisms like mediation should be there, and again there are also different mediation act and all is coming, use of technology for more digitization, improving infrastructure, and also government should be government should ensure that government departments are not competing to be a litigant. Okay, so finally you can conclude it. Timely reforms, ADR technology will be ensuring that efficient justice system will be there. So like that we can conclude your answer. Okay. Now moving on to prelims practice questions. So these are the prelims practice questions of yesterday's daily news analysis. Today's prelims practice questions will be discussed in Monday's daily news analysis. Okay. All right. So consider the following statements regarding information technology, intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code rules 2021. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology notified these rules under Information Technology Act of 2000. Okay. Next one, OTT platforms are required to classify their content based on 8 suitability such as UA 13 plus, UA 16 plus and A. Okay, both of these statements are correct. Next one, yeah, this is correct. This is correct. Next one, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology oversees the implementation of these rules for OTT platforms and digital news publishers. Okay, this statement is not correct. Statement 3 is incorrect. So while the MeitY, Information Technology, they notify the rules, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting oversees the implementation. Okay, so here it should be Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. I and B should be the correct answer. So correct answer is, this is wrong, this is correct, this is correct, this is wrong. So it will be 1 and 2 only. Correct is 1 and 2. Alright, next one. Which of the following statements about composition of Lokpal ISOR are correct? Lokpal consists of 1 chairperson and up to 8 members. At least this is correct. Okay, so at least 50% of Lokpal members must be from SC, ST, OBC, minorities or women. Again, this is also correct. Third one, all members of the Lokpal must be former judges of the Supreme Court or High Court. Again, this is not correct. All members of the Lokpal must not be from there, but still all members of the all judicial members of the Lokpal should be former judges of Supreme Court or High Courts. Okay, so correct answer 1 and 2 only. Correct answer is 1 and 2 only. Next one, which of the following statements about dissolved oxygen is correct? It is an indicator of air pollution in water. Dissolved oxygen levels below 3 milligram per liter indicate healthy aquatic condition. Dissolved oxygen is vital for survival of aquatic organism with levels below 3 mg per liter causing hypoxic conditions. The safe level of DO, dissolved oxygen for aquatic life is less than 1 milligram. Okay, so correct answer is dissolved oxygen is vital for survival of aquatic organism with levels below 3 milligram per liter causing hypoxic conditions. Okay, so this is a correct answer. Okay, all right. So these are the prelims practice questions of today's daily news analysis. So this will be discussed in Monday's daily news analysis. Okay, and also you can visit our website navigator.narayanias.com. The link will be posted in the chat box. You can go to that website and there the quiz section will be there. So there you can attempt these questions. Okay, all right. So I have already shown your quiz in the beginning of the session. So this is the question: which temple in Hampi is dedicated to Lord Vishnu and built during Vijayanagara period? Brihadishwara temple, Vittala temple, Meenakshi temple, Jagannatha temple. So the correct answer is Vittala temple. Okay, so Vittala temple, it is dedicated to Lord Vishnu in the Krishna form. Okay, so this was constructed during the Vijayanagara period only, famous for its stone chariot. Okay, even in the 50 rupees note and all you can see the that Hampi chariot will be. So that is from the Vittala temple only. Okay, so that's it for today's daily news analysis. So we have understood all these 4 topics as well as a question. So we'll see with another important topics on next daily news analysis. So that's it. Thank you.